Hi there guys, and welcome to another video on the channel. Today I thought I would talk to you a little bit about my axe. I have owned this axe for the past 3 years now, and it is the only axe I carry when I'm outdoors. So this little axe does everything for me. Every job I need to do, this axe can actually achieve. Some of you might know this axe already. It is the outdoor axe by Gränsfors Bruk. There are already some nice reviews, some very good reviews in fact out there of this axe. But I still thought I would just tell you my opinion about it, what I think of this little axe here. In this video I'm not going to demonstrate this axe because I have many other videos where I'm going to show this, and I already have some videos where you can see me using this axe. Okay, first I would like to give you a few specs in case you don't know this axe already, just so you know what we're talking about. This is actually really a very small axe. So the full length of the axe is 37 centimeters, which is a little bit over 14 inches. And the total weight of the axe, so the head and the handle together, is 500 grams, which is just over 1 pound. So it's really light. If you put it in a backpack, you're barely gonna notice that you actually have an axe with you. The length of the head, so from here to here, is 11.5 centimeters, which is about 4.5 inches. And the length of the cutting edge, so from here to here, is 6 centimeters, which is 2 inches. So actually you can see it's fairly narrow combined with its length, so it's fairly long and fairly narrow, and this means that it's a very good splitter. You can see it's also very thick between like the end of the eye and the beginning of the actual bevel here. It's very thick here, which means it's an excellent splitter. So it's really thick and very narrow. It doesn't create much friction, it doesn't get stuck in the logs, and it just splits really well. So the head is Swedish carbon steel. It's actually recycled carbon steel. It's really superb quality steel. It's very good. It's obviously also very well heat treated. Obviously Gränsfors Bruk are very well known for the really good edge retention and sharpness of their axes, because they use such good steel and they obviously know how to heat treat it properly. The handle is American hickory. Of course Gränsfors Bruk could use ash, they could use Swedish ash, something which is very local, but they actually chose not to use ash, but to use hickory from America, which they have to import, because they have noticed that hickory is much more durable. The longevity of the handle is really much better. So they have to actually produce less handles, less replacement handles for their axes if they use hickory. It's also quite well orientated. You can't see it on here, but you can see the little silk here where it's perfectly perpendicular to the grain. So you know, it's almost in the middle of the axe handle here, so it's really very good grain orientation. And actually for a small axe like this, I'm pretty sure the grain orientation doesn't really matter. As long as it's fairly straight grain wood, that's really going to be good, because it's so light. There is really not much strain on the handle while in use at all. Next is the sheath. Or the axe mask rather. It's a vegetable tanned leather. A lot of people actually complain about the quality of the axe masks from Gränsfors Bruk. They say that they're bad quality masks. I think they're actually very good. They definitely do the job. At the end, the important thing is the tool, and then that's just to protect the tool. And you know, that's really its only function. As long as it does protect the tool properly, it's actually working, and it does that very well. It protects the tool very well. So as you might be able to see here, this axe has been forged by Leonard Pettersson, LP. He was, I believe, a knife maker, and I think he is the guy who designed the mini hatchet, the one which is even smaller one than this one. And he doesn't actually work at Gränsfors Bruk anymore. If you look on their website, you have all the list of the people they work with currently, and they also have another list of the people that used to work at Gränsfors Bruk, and he is on that list actually, so he stopped working. I'm not too sure, but I believe this could be like one of the last axes he forged. But yeah, one other thing you might notice is it's got a little steel wedge in here. When you buy an outdoor axe, or like most of their small axes, they don't have this little steel wedge in there. One thing I had is I actually had stored the axe in an environment which was a little bit too dry. So I actually let the axe dry out a little bit too much, and it did actually wobble. So what I did is I actually put it in my workshop where it was really dry, and I dried out the handle really well, or the whole axe, and then when it was really dry, obviously it wobbled even more. But what I then did is I hammered in this little steel wedge, and then I took the axe back into normal humidity, and then it swelled up. So once I hammered in the wedge, it stopped wobbling, and then obviously when I took it back to the normal like humidity which we have around, obviously the wood swelled up a bit, and now it really doesn't wobble anymore. And what this means, that the reason why I hammered in this wedge when the handle was really dry, is that this way I'm sure that as long as the humidity doesn't go below the humidity at which I hammered in the steel wedge, I know that this head will never move again. So you know, it should not move again, you know, unless you really dry out the handle a lot. But you know, under normal circumstances, it will not move anymore. I'm not too sure if the reason why this head moved was entirely because it dried out too much. I think it could be that with the outdoor axe you've got more risk of the head moving a bit because of the steel guard here. Of course, when you're trying to join a piece of wood and a piece of metal, it's always very difficult, because they're going to move at different rates. So the metal is not really going to react that much to temperature, and the wood is going to react more. So you know, it's always gonna move, and it's always gonna be difficult. And then when you add a third component in there, it becomes even more difficult. So it didn't actually move much, but it was just a tiny bit. If you whacked the head into a log, you could slightly move the handle. So yeah, I think if ever you've got an outdoor axe and the head moves a bit, you can just hammer in a little steel wedge. and it should actually solve the problem. A lot of people think it is too expensive. It costs around £100 or probably around $150 in most places. But I absolutely don't think that this axe is too expensive. You know, if you think what you get for it, for those like £100, it is really, you know, you get a tool which will last you like, the handle will probably last you like 25 years, and the head will basically last forever, you know. It's gonna last definitely more than one lifetime. So you know, you get an incredible tool which will probably use a lot more than your knife. And if we think about knives, a lot of people, they pay like 200, 300, up to £500 for their knives, you know. And for an axe you pay, you know, just a fraction of this price, and you're probably gonna find there is more use for an axe than there is for a knife. Actually, it's really the knife only comes in for a very fine work, and you know, if you're chopping firewood, you don't need a knife, you just need an axe and a saw. And yeah, for many things an axe is used rather than other tools. So I think it's really a good price. I think, you know, many people think Gränsfors Bruk is too expensive, but I think it's absolutely not too expensive, and you probably get more than what you pay for, to be honest. It's really good. Of course, the craftsmanship is not like a handmade axe, of course, but okay, so I think that really if you're a really mobile bushcrafter, if you go around a lot, if you go hiking a lot, and if you're not going to get into huge shelter construction or something, I think this axe is really the perfect axe for you. It's so light and it's really good at everything it does. It's incredible, because really often when you try and make an all-round axe, it is sort of mediocre at everything. It can do loads of things, but there is nothing which it's really good at. But with this axe, it's actually just excellent at everything it can do. It's so good at splitting, it's so good at carving, it's so good at chopping. It can fell trees. I have actually felled some willow trees once, which were like that big, really, which were like almost a foot in diameter. Of course, willow is a very soft wood, but still it did it with just absolutely no problem. So I think, you know, this is an incredible achievement from Gränsfors Bruk and Lars Felt, who designed the axe. And yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a small light axe which can do just like every job you need in bushcraft, but it won't do like huge shelter construction, or if you need fire for warmth, if you live in a really cold environment or something like this, you're gonna need something bigger. But unless you're doing something like this is really what you need. You don't need to look any further. This is like the perfect bushcraft tool. So I hope this was helpful for you. Maybe you were looking for a Gränsfors Bruk and you're not too sure which one to buy. I know that when I decided I was going to get a Gränsfors Bruk, I was for probably like 6 months, I was actually looking up reviews and stuff, and I was really not too sure which one to buy. But this one is really actually a really good choice. I'm really happy I went for this one. So yeah, I hope that maybe this was of some kind of help to you. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Take care.